The Mercedes-Benz R170 SLK. This was the first generation of the Mercedes-Benz SLK, and it was a compact luxury roadster manufactured between 1995 and 2004, and it was based on a shortened variant of the W202 Mercedes C-Class platform. With over 300,000 manufactured, the SLK nameplate derives from the roadster's design mission to be sporty, light and compact, which is what SLK stands for. The R170 is based on the SLK-1 concept, which was originally presented during the spring of 1944 in the Turin Motor Show, and the SLK-2 concept was presented during the fall of 1994 at the Paris Motor Show. It was a two-seater roadster concept car that featured a groundbreaking folding metal electric hydraulic roof, which was dubbed as the Vario roof. The hardtop would take only 25 seconds to complete an operation, so you had the perfect two-door coupe that converted into a roadster for all-season driving. The roof was so groundbreaking that a German-designed patent was filed on the 30th of September 1993, with the final production version of the SLK being introduced to the world at the Turin Motor Show on the 22nd of April 1996. As previously mentioned, the SLK R170 is based on a W202 C-Class platform, and what that means is it shares many drivetrain and chassis components, as well as using a shortened version of the floor plan. The wheelbase is also identical to the wheelbase of a 190 SL or a 300 SL Gullwing, which is pretty amazing to think about the heritage those cars have. When the SLKs came out, they had an array of standard equipment, including power seats, power windows, power steering, dual zone climate control, dimmable interior mirrors and alloy wheels. Safety was really important to Mercedes-Benz at this time, so safety features included a front and side driver and passenger airbags with anti-lock brakes and electronic stability control. There was also a great variety of engine options for you to choose from: the SLK 200, the SLK 200 compressor, the SLK 230 compressor, the SLK 320 and the SLK 32 AMG. If you didn't want a manual transmission and you wanted a higher spec car, you could get a 5-speed touch shift 5G Tronic automatic transmission, and that is what this car has today that we're reviewing. You could also have heated seats, xenon headlamps, a premium Bose sound system and a trunk mounted 6 CD changer. In 2000, the SLK R170 had a facelift, and what that meant was there were exterior design changes, including a redesigned front and rear bumpers, a redesigned silver grille, tail lights, body-coloured side skirts and door handles, and it even integrated indicators in the wing mirrors and a stainless steel trim on the exhaust. There were also interior upgrades, including a redesigned steering wheel, transmission shifter, and more supportive sports seats. During the facelift, the naturally aspirated SLK 200 was discontinued. The SLK 230 compressor received an engine update, the SLK 320 was introduced, and the SLK 200 compressor was also introduced to replace the naturally aspirated 200. The final upgrades for the facelift were an upgraded stability control system, and the fuel tank was increased from 45 litres to 53. And the SLK R170 we're reviewing today is a 2001 model, which means it's the facelift. The final changes to the R170 in its production span was in 2001. They replaced the 5-speed manual with a 6-speed manual, and the SLK 32 AMG high-performance variant was introduced. The SLK also received awards from the Car and Driver's 10 Best list for 1997, and it was named North American's Car of the Year in 1997. As previously mentioned, the variant we're focusing on today is a 230 compressor, and this was by far the most popular engine choice, as this particular version was produced 160,000 times in comparison to a 200 compressor only being built 67,000 times, which really goes to show the 230 compressor with a supercharged engine is an amazing option. So before we take the SLK for a spin, I want to talk more about this specific R170 230 compressor. This car was spec'd in amber red metallic with a leather anthracite interior. It was produced in 2001, and also in the interior it was spec'd with the bird's eye maple wood. And I must say, they really are a great looking car. And thanks to it having a folding metal roof, which was so revolutionary at the time, what it really means is that you can have an all-season two-seater roadster. Because in the winter or a cold morning, you have the roof up and it's almost as quiet and just as warm as a car with a permanent metal roof. But then you have the incredible flexibility when the sun comes out and you want to get the wind in your hair, you can let the roof down and you have a fun, lightweight, compact, sporty little roadster. If you want it to be the ultimate driver's car, you'd obviously want to choose a version for sale with a manual transmission. But I must say the Tiptronic gearbox in this car is really nice to drive, very responsive and very smooth. It really is a great Grand Tourer gearbox. Now let's talk about how much power this particular engine produces. Now remember, this is the 2.3 litre supercharged inline 4 and it produces 194 horsepower at 5500 RPM and 280 Newton-meters of torque. And interestingly, it produces the most amount of torque at 2,500 RPM thanks to it having a supercharger and not a turbo. So it gives you great power all the way through the rev range. It has a 0 to 60 time of 7.2 seconds. And yes, it's not the fastest car in the world, but for a fun weekend car that doesn't break the bank, it's a great option. Especially if you live somewhere in the UK where we don't always have warm weather, but you still need to use the car on those cold days. Speaking of the 0 to 60 times, it is over a second faster than the 200 compressor and only 0.3 of a second slower than the 320 V6. Now the V6 was a naturally aspirated engine, so it really goes to show this inline 4 with a supercharger is almost just as fast as the heavier V6. And because you have a smaller engine, you'll have better handling in the corners thanks to the weight saving that you get with the smaller engine. So now I'm going to hand over to Tania to let her take the SLK for a spin on the country lanes.
Hello, I'm Tania and today I'm going to be taking this SLK for a spin. But first, let's get the roof down. Now, as you can see, it's got a fully automated roof and only takes just 25 seconds to complete the whole process. Now, the boot is a really good size, and obviously when this roof is then in the boot, it does compromise your boot space, but there's still plenty of boot space left to take this away for a weekend on little trim. Now, I'm here in sunny Sussex. Why don't we give this SLK a little spin? So this SLK is the 230 and it's actually ULEZ compliant, which is super useful now in the living in the world that we do. Now this is a 2001 model, which is the facelift model, and it's got some real good attentions to detail areas that I really like, such as the beautiful white dials, which match perfectly with the bird's eye maple wood. And you may not know this, but it's one of the rarest woods on the planet. This example has been specced up with the amber red metallic and teamed up with the black anthracite leather seats. So you may be wondering what SLK stands for: sport, light and compact. And she definitely is. Now this SLK handles really well and it's so much fun to drive, especially in this beautiful sunshine down here in Sussex. For the price point of these cars, it really is a no-brainer for a great summer bargain and so much fun to drive. Let's try the Benz. The handling is really, really positive. And I tell you what, it feels really lovely to feel this lovely maple wood on the steering wheel. This branded wind diffuser means you can drive with the top down without having to worry about getting the hair in your eyes. So you can really take these bends at speed. It's got some great storage compartments too in the doors, and a little one here behind the seat, so you can really keep all those little essentials in the car with you. This version is mated to the 5-speed Tiptronic gearbox and it really is super smooth. Unlike most convertibles, which have a soft top, this has a folding metal roof, so you can use it all year round. When this car came out, it had strong competition from BMW and Porsche, but this was the only one that had the metal roof and not just a soft top. So it really made it go that a little bit above and beyond for the quality you can get from Mercedes. To summarise, if you want to get yourself out in the sunshine and get the wind in your hair, then I really recommend this SLK. It's super fun, super nippy, great handling. It has some great attention to detail too. So why don't you get yourself out there and enjoy an SLK 230.
So I hope you enjoyed learning a little bit more about the SLK R170, and it's helped you decide if the SLK R170 is the right roadster for you. We've learned about its history and what it's like to drive, and I really hope you've enjoyed this video, and if you have, please do like and subscribe, as more will be coming very soon on a variety of daily driven modern classics.